Welcome, welcome, welcome! Yes, I am Goddess of Radical Self-Love. This is MECA, Make Everyone Count Always. Yes, it is our community of radical self-love experts, experts in self-care, and master manifestors, manifesting the life you want and deserve. And here at our community, we also value and support our caregivers and care receivers. When our community's most vulnerable, care receivers, and those who care for them, caregivers, feel valued and supported, we all can rest assured we feel valued and supported as well. Correct? Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much. So much gratitude for those of you who have recently found us and subscribed to our channel, and those of you who have been family members for quite some time now. Yes, thank you so much for your love and support, for your likes, comments, shares, and subscriptions and donations. Yes, thank you so much for making it possible to see me every day. I love what I do. Yes, I do. So today is Walk and Roll Away Wednesday. Walk and roll away from what is no longer serving you or your higher purpose, correct? So let go and release what isn't working. Yes, that is the idea, so that we can receive new, different, better, and more. Yeah. Hands open. Let it come, let it go. So, today, normally we use the Guardian Angel reading cards by Debbie Malone, but I decided to give them a release, just for a day. A rest, a release, whatever. And I used our New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. I'm going to explain a little bit for those of you who might be a little although that will come into our Walk and Roll Away Wednesday anyway. But I don't want to scare any of you away, obviously. So I'm just going to read to you a little bit about the Voodoo Tarot, right? So the procession of images, which is the tarot, wound through Europe under the stewardship of the gypsies, who carried with them the arcane knowledge of the great mystery schools of the Egyptians. This is what the teaching of Western esoteric traditions maintains. Portions of the knowledge of these mystery schools certainly find their origins in the elder interior regions of Africa that are known to the Egyptians as the land of spirits. From the green canopied jungles to the fertile plain awash with the Nile, to the towns and countrysides of Europe, the pilgrimage of the tarot stretched and plied its sacred route. The Voodoo Tarot, which you now have, partakes of the work of this procession. It stands as a strong reminder that Egypt is an African country whose advanced culture and religion rest upon a firm base of African theology. It is a mission of this tarot to open a space for the spirits of the interior African land spoken of by the ancient Egyptians to manifest and offer their seasoned advice. It was so funny because I knew this was like already what it was and everything. Obviously, I study it. But I just like kind of looked it up on my phone really quick to get a definition for you. I mean, really for me, it's more of the energy, which all source is energy. So that's what I work with, right? I'm a metaphysicist. So, and I looked and it said like they had copied the Catholic religion, which is so funny. I'm like, I think you got that backwards. Whatever. I mean, like, basically, when the Iowa and Orisha spirit forms came west, they were forced into, people were forced into, or their rituals were forced into the Catholic tradition, and that's pretty much it. So they had to hide who they prayed to and put them in the guise of Catholic saints. So, who I pulled last night for myself, Dr. John. I love him so much because, well, he's a drummer and I like to dance. So we go together. And we go together in many different ways, but I'll talk about those in a second. So I pulled for him, him. Yes. To help me on this path while I am trying to get my book on Amazon, and it's taking freaking forever. Seriously. All right, I got to make it fast today because I have to go pick up my kids, and yeah, I slept in, but that's okay. I had to. I have a lot going on. I'm a human being. My body or mind or something is like, maybe it's my spirit. I'm just like, so tired. And it's raining here too. Around noon, I start to perk up. I'm ready to go. But why does it have to take me that long? Probably because I don't go to bed till 1. I don't know what's wrong with me lately. So, here we go. Let me show you Dr. John. Yeah, and when I was meditating on his card, we definitely had a connection as I could see different things interplaying, but yes, this is a great tarot deck if you are interested, because there's so much history in it too. So I'm playing this African music actually for Dr. John. Drumming music. So, oh my gosh, it's so hot all of a sudden. It's this card, Dr. John, is number 1, which is also the same as what I'm painting right now, the Magician. That's how things always work out though. So I think I should probably make a Dr. John painting after I'm done with the Magician. And I could do like me dancing behind him. It would be fun. Yeah. He would just remind me to, you know, relax and have fun. So, not that I don't always, you guys know it. So, Dr. John is a New Orleans personage who is traveling the starry road to the position of Iowa. He was a practitioner and sacred drummer of high renown in the city during the early 1800s. His aspect is that of a fierce, free African, whose face was said to be tattooed with red and blue lines in the form of snakes, which is pretty awesome with the fact that I was asking for assistance and help as in how to proceed and whatnot last night for my book, The Snake That Never Sheds, right? So, pretty cool. His virtues are those of a traditionalist dedicated to the maintenance of the strict African forms within voodoo and those vibrationary laws that govern the rhythms used to call the Iowa. The spirit of the first Dr. John resides close to Congo Square in the St. Louis Cemetery, number 1. Dr. John still plays his drum in New Orleans and in the many parts of the New World, alive with African rhythms. Listen, late at night, the drumming never stops. Now loud, now very, very soft. His is the power of sound. In the beginning was the sound, the word, the rhythm. This is the pulsing road the spirits travel. The baton carried by the winged god Mercury was a rod of communication, of messages. Sorry, guys. You know I can't talk. Dr. John's baton becomes a drumstick with which he drums this world into existence and creates the link with the invisibles. His ability to bring power into the voodoo rites is always harnessed, used in service to and at the word of the congregation or its leader, generally a priestess. His task was to produce bursts of energy from the drums on demand. The lines tattooed on his face helped him to channel the necessary power. A primary role of the ritual drummer is to provide rhythmic fuel to heat up a rite. It is an office of service to those assembled for the rite and requires great sensitivity to spoken as well as subtle injections. The ego that remained with him must have chafed at this control, as his ability to raise power upon command was exercised to the point of bone weariness. There have been many Dr. Johns which attest to the power of the original doctor was able to conjure and hold. After the first doctor's death, another Dr. John who resembled the original closely was quick to make his way into voodoo circles. The present Dr. John is a powerful musician whose music and stage presence have a strong voodoo feel. He is greatly respected for his willingness to play benefits for worthy civic causes. The aspect of this card is that of an intense drummer sitting astride his drum. One hand is raised and one is lowered in his playing, suggesting the essential unity of the worlds, as above, so below. The scene for the card is Congo Square in New Orleans. The good doctor is playing for one of the dances presided over by Marie Laveau. Congo Square was the officially sanctioned location for ritualized dancing by enslaved Africans in the early 19th century and is a holy site of great spiritual energy. Attributes or powers attuned to this card include the use of the rhythm to call the spiritual into the visible world. Dr. John is a great patron of ritual drummers. Contemplation. Just going to hold this up for you while I read. Rhythm, the pulsing of sound and silence, the extension and contraction of the great snake. Giving rise to creation. Divination, craft. Consummate skill in the matter at hand. Occult powers or wisdom, ability to see root causes clearly, identification of the individual will with a greater or more inclusive will. Yes. So let me know if you liked our Voodoo Tarot and Dr. John and learning about a little bit about that history, so we can go ahead and possibly start using more, or back and forth at least. I can also use the normal tarot and our fairy tarot and whatnot as well. Yes, they help me. So be able to understand what I'm being told a little more clearly at times and whatnot. So we have 10 minutes. So what am I walking and rolling away from? Well, sorry. That was not attractive. I know. Backstory, I guess. So, as many of you know, I was a parent to a foster son, a effing awesome son, which made me an effing awesome parent. I also was an effing awesome child, for those of you who do not know. Yes, I do fully support our effing awesome children and parents. However, my effing awesome son is now living with his actual family. So that's good for him, hopefully. I definitely am sending them lots of healing energy and prayers to assist them. So, and also my effing awesome son, his whole family. So if you all could as well, that would be amazing. Send your healing and loving and supportive energy towards them and all other foster and children and parents as well. We have to do whatever we can to support them, right? They have very difficult lives, lots of trauma typically. So that was very hard. And then too, when I got back from my amazing vacation, like I said, there was a reason the universe put that vacation right where it did. In my temptation home. Yeah, I'm watching ducks right now. That's pretty cool in the rain. I should probably let you guys see them. I don't know if I can. Right over there. Anyway, sorry. I know. Distractions. That's how I am. Okay, 6 minutes to go. So, when I got back, or right before I left, my past relationship sent me a message, and I haven't heard from him since July 4th. We haven't talked. So, it's like, hey, like, no, we haven't talked. I'm a little confused. It's been really hard for me. Wasn't hard for me at all, no. Just saying. Hope your trip goes well. Talk when we get back, right? So, I'm happy. I mean, I want to talk to him. But the conversation definitely reminded me of why I wasn't, like, there was a lot of the same things going on that had been happening in the relationship. Blaming and shaming, really on my part. I mean, not like me doing it, them doing it, him doing it. I'm sure he didn't realize. Because him just calling was an apology in itself. And I realized that. So what I'm walking away from, because I actually handled it in a really, I feel, a really good way. Although you would have to probably talk to him to find out. That would be only fair. I was really able to just listen. I mean, in the first part, I really did a lot of explaining of why I wasn't there, why it all had accumulated up to this pinnacle of, I don't know, an eruption on both of our parts, you know. It's really always the two. It's always two. So I sat and listened to what he felt was my doing and really took it in. Although with protection, you know, I'm not going to let my energy or his way of viewing me or whatnot, anybody's, whether it's good or bad, change my view of exactly who I am. So I was able to just sit there and listen without getting upset, really. And it's like I couldn't have done that before for sure. So really, I think what I'm walking away from is having a connection, an emotional connection to somebody else's response. So my emotions will not be tied to your decisions, your thoughts, your statements, you know, somewhat detached and removed all the time. But I mean, obviously I have my own emotions. It's just, you're not going to change how I feel. Like not how I feel, how do I say it? Balance. You cannot dictate the way my emotions, how I react based on what you do or think or communicate. Obviously, unless it's like life or death situation, I'm going to react, but I'm not talking about that. And obviously, I have very strong opinions of my own, but it's not always necessary to share with others. Kind of like they have to earn it. You know, that relationship, because it is a trusting relationship to disclose how I really feel instead of just listen, which I never was able to do before. He actually said that it was hard for his family to get to know me because I'm a hard person to read, which is hilarious because, well, typically I would tell you just about everything from my life, or a lot. Either about how I was feeling right at the moment or what made me who I am. Well, now I don't really have to do that anymore. Although, and the fact that he said that I was a hard person to read, it was like, okay. I didn't even respond. I'm like, okay. And you know, like none of it is like his fault either. Like he is just the way he is. And so it's really like this non-judgment of him and myself and not blaming, shaming, or complaining. You know, like it's not his fault. It's not my fault. It is just the way it is. It's duality. So it's all about the lessons. What are we going to do from here? I say what we do from here is dance. Thank you so much for being with me today. Yes, thank you so much for showing up on Walking and Rolling Away Wednesday. Let me know what you are walking and rolling away from. Please and thank you. Love you all. Mwah, 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 mwah. Love you forever. Win it.